Let's move. Blaze of justice. We stand as one. Are you gonna give me orders?
European Terran, but we're going to be finding out who is the advancing Terran or Zerg in this other upper bracket match. Thank you so much to Secret Labs, Twitch, Ting, and Shopify for giving us these games, sponsoring this tournament, and creating one of the best lower brackets we've ever had. But now let's continue on with the upper bracket. Elazer versus HeRoMaRiNE. Who do you think is going to be taking this one, Wardy?
Oh, you always ask me the difficult questions.
Why? Why ask you the
you always ask me who I think is going to win, and these games are all really close. So yeah, it's always difficult. What can I say?
You just say it, man. I said Rainer, and it came true.
All right, HeRoMaRiNE's going to 3-0 Elazer. It's going to be a terrible series. HeRoMaRiNE's going to stomp him and show everyone why HeRoMaRiNE is the best and why he's Big Gabe.
You're saying that to cast or curse it, right? And give us a 3-2.
No, you wanted me to just say something. I said something. ZG, you got it. So if it comes true, I'm going to blame it on you. And if it doesn't come true, you can all thank me for my caster curse. And like, for me, it's like a win-win, I guess.
I was gonna say, like, this backfired, but
the only way it backfires is if Elazer wins like 3-0 very quickly, right? Because then it's like, okay, then it's then I look stupid. I predicted the wrong guy, and we still see someone winning very quickly. So
yeah. You know what? To go against you, I'm gonna say Elazer wins 3-0.
3-0. Wow.
Yeah. But they're going to be like really, really epic games individually. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So like the series score doesn't represent the games in the series.
Sure.
Yeah. We've had that before. That
happens all the time.
It happens sometimes. I hear your sarcasm.
What?
You said it like you were like, yeah, sure, it happens.
No. That was dead serious. It does happen. Happens all the time. Genuinely.
Okay, all right.
I'm not always sarcastic, ZG. Just most of the time.
Maybe I'm just like, I just think all like guys from UK are sarcastic. Maybe that's it. Your accent plays toward it, right?
Yeah, definitely doesn't help us try and sound serious a lot. I can say that much. Obviously, this one, it's a big matchup for TLO's true or false as well, right? TLO predicted HeRoMaRiNE to go bio every single game. But also, he said if there's any proxy racks, that the Terran's going to win with it. So that's what we're watching for. It's a couple of things to look out for. Should be some good fun. I kind of believe in TLO as well. I think this is going to be mostly bio. It's been a while. HeRoMaRiNE was a big mech user, even when mech fell off a bit. But I don't think. I think with how he's been playing his bio lately, I think the only time we see mech is if he goes down like 0-2. And bio's just clearly not working at all, and he needs to switch it up big time, so...
Agreed. Otherwise, this bio has really been working out, and it has been the preference, it seems, for a lot of Terrans. But that's what TLO's predicting. Will he actually be incorrect? Will we be incorrect? In the top left of Nightshade, for game number 1, we have the red Zerg, Elazer.
In the bottom right-hand side, we have... biggest of Gabes, HeRoMaRiNE.
The biggest of Gabes. I don't think I know any other Gabes, man. So I guess that's a true statement.
HeRoMaRiNE, Big Gabe ate them all to become the biggest.
He ate all the Gabes of the world.
Yeah. He's just like, no. I shall be the biggest Gabe, and I shall consume all my competitors until I get there.
This is some weird Greek tragedy, right? Like,
yeah,
sure, yeah, that makes sense. Oh boy. The memes aside, Elazer showed us that he's still one of the guys that can tackle Cyril in a ZVZ. Is he actually the guy to tackle HeRoMaRiNE as EVT? Most people have been, I guess, like, given practice against HeRoMaRiNE, considering he gets so far in all of these EPT online tournaments. He's definitely well practiced against. A lot of these European guys are going to be very familiar with each other, but that doesn't stop him from still winning a lot of those tournaments, even though everyone seems to think that he's so predictable and everyone's so comfortable against some type of stuff. His pure macro is just undeniable.
Mm-hmm. The only thing is, Elazer didn't play a lot of those ESL Open Cups, right? So maybe he didn't play HeRoMaRinE as much, but yeah, they play on the ladder, and he's definitely seen HeRoMaRinE play a lot of these ZVTs lately. Elazer's played Clem in a lot of events recently as well. And he's actually looked really good against Clem. Lots of long games. Elazer definitely not afraid to kind of open up his arms and say, let's macro, let's do this, and really kind of get into that kind of lengthy scenario, and has looked very good in those longer games as well a lot of the time. So really, I think he's definitely a scary opponent for HeRoMaRinE. I think I said I was kind of joking on a little bit saying HeRoMaRinE 3-0 here, but for me, I think Elazer's got a very good shot at this series and just an overall amazing run in this bracket, because he's really been like a new Elazer again in 2020. He's really kind of leveled up once more, kind of back to the Elazer we saw winning Valencia all those years ago.
Yeah, and getting the farthest that a foreigner had gotten, at least until Cyril. He definitely has had his impressive points, and I think he's talked about this a little bit, that like he knows exactly what correlates to him playing very well, is also having like a healthy mindset and working out all that. It seems like he's just, everything is coming together for Elazer. And after taking out Cyril, being half of the contribution that has knocked Cyril out of this tournament, it just makes you feel good no matter what, no matter if this was a ZVZ, ZVT, or ZVP. But a ZVT versus HeRoMaRinE, definitely a difficult thing to size up. He's so big, right? He had all the other games, but also difficult to just in general macro against. Elazer, certainly a guy that doesn't have to macro though. He has been in the past one of the cheesier Zerg players. And at least in this game, not going for any cheese, he is going to be going for that very quick spire off of 3 bases.
Yeah, so a little bit of a comparison to our earlier TVC we had, where you played like a lot of 2-base lair. This is the more standard variation of the fast spire, right? Where you get 3 hatch and then the faster lair. And this works really well also because of the fact that this is going to be cloaked Banshees, so you can get this Overseer very quickly. So it really gives you the ability to defend the Banshees much more easily. They're not going to sit between bases, picking up drones that are transferring or anything for free. So, just wins all around basically for Elazer in how he sets up at the moment. Of course, nothing weird about what HeRoMaRinE is doing. People love to play Cloak Banshee on this map because it's a sort of map where if you kill a few drones, it's very easy to then snowball the game into a victory. So the Banshees give you a good choice there. And it's also a shorter map, so if you get roach rushed, having the Banshees out keeps you very safe, and you can then get into that mid game, which you really do just want to get into on Nightshade, because this is a good map for pushing across the map on. It is a good map for dealing with the counter-attacks on. It gives you a lot of options to, well, just play a strong macro game, basically.
I agree with all your points. I mean, on top of the Banshees being safe, they also did produce some extra Hellions, which we can see sometimes used to be a bit divey. She is trying to go into this 3rd base, but really nice Evolution Chamber block combined with the Sport Brawler as well. Like, that was nicely done. If they're not used to be a bit divey, actually go into the main base, try and get the drones, try and take advantage of what it should be lower lane count or queen count. They can be used to turn into Hellbats later on. And while Hellbats, don't help as much as they seem to, they're tankier than Marines, but when it's 12 Banelings, it's like, what's the difference? There's no understanding that they can be helpful. Queen's doing a great job warding this off. 1-1 is going to be on the way for Elazer. I thought with that Spire, he was going to be going for this, or
with the lair.
He was going to be going for the Spire, but no, actually.
Yeah.
Just faster centrifugal hooks,
so
really fast.
I think this is just a fast lair for 8 Baneling speed, and obviously again the Overseer, because it is a map that people like to play Banshees on.
Yeah.
And then also this is a map where, because of those big pushes, it is difficult to play a Spire, right? Because if you're playing Lingbait Muta, the Mutas don't add much to the fight, but you can't counterattack as easily because the Terran can pull back, deal with that very well, and then go back to the fight anyway, so you don't get much value out of the Mutas here compared to other maps. And as these Lings come in for a surround, and they're going to stop these Hellions dead in their tracks, so that's a really nice catch there. Because the Banshees will be deflected too, Elazer taking no damage at all. But just to wrap up my point very quickly, as the Ling is also going to counterattack, apparently they don't want me telling you more about Nightshade. So I will not. I'll just say that there's a lot of damage being done now on both sides. The Banshees finally find an opening. But yeah, HeRoMaRinE, ashamed to lose some SCVs in this 3rd, which felt like it could have been defended quite easily as well, as Elazer's gone up to 5 bases too.
Yeah, just a bit of a faster reaction. I think his unit's actually in position would have made this, maybe 2 SCVs lost, but one is Banshee's doing more damage. They are still alive, so they could still be getting the greater damage done here. And there you go. I'm just already getting 3 more kills as soon as I say it. But Elazer with very fast and difficult hooks, I mean, has no worry there. Has also had a lot of time for creep spread. HeRoMaRinE never doing any of those earlier pushes or even really doing any drops. Is just adding on those 3 barracks and moving on to the next production cycle of TVZ, which is a heck of a lot of barracks, a heck of a lot of Marines. So, not a 4th CC down. Good defense here, good tank positioning. A typical thing that can happen for sure. Nice pickup there. Ooh, that was the last second.
Ooh. Nice defense there. Nice pickup here. HeRoMaRiNE's playing well so far. And he's already opened up a little supply lead. And that definitely is scary when it starts coming to those larger pushes further down the line. Now, Elazer's way to deal with that, as we do see 8 racks being added in here by HeRoMaRinE. Elazer's way to deal with this is just to go straight to Hive. And if he can just hold out for the Ultralisks and survive until then, it's very hard for HeRoMaRinE to win that fight, because this is going to be pure Marine tank. This is not meant to be, Marauder's building at all. He won't really have tech labs on the racks. So if Elazer can survive that long, then brilliant. But can he? 10 drones just went down, and a hatchery on this left side. Good thing he built a base at the top as well, but the 10 drones, they don't just pop out of nowhere on that extra base. So that's really painful, and really feels like HeRoMaRiNE's having a great time in these early stages.
Well, he does take out a base and 10 drones. That's a good hit to the economy. I'm really worried about this creep spread. He just pushed back a couple of the queens. Got 1 kill, I believe. But look at Elazer. He's like almost in tank range. And he's like, yep, creep spread. And you're like, no, Elazer, you're not supposed to be able to do that. So he's finally forced to really pull it back. This is so much extra time that he gets to just threaten HeRoMaRinE. Like, I'm going to get you with the banelings. You have to pick up, so you're not really pushing into me. And if you're not pushing into me, I have plenty of time to get to that hive. I'm really worried for HeRoMaRinE to actually have an executing attack, Like, he can drop, or maybe he can't, all he wants. But if he's not going to get an actual push here, then Elazer's going to get to those very, very fearsome ultras up against the very few number of tanks, no liberators, not even any marauders when you do this. This is usually all about keeping the gas pedal down, right? Constant attacks, constant rallying in with a couple of drops. And HeRoMaRinE has only done the a couple of drops part. So I'm a little worried about that 4th base. 2-2 is finishing up, and this has got to be the time HeRoMaRinE gets to go, but he's got at least 3 scans before he's really on top of any base again.
Yeah. Definitely in a position here, HeRoMaRinE, where as he comes across the map, the creep spread looks scary, right? But it's quite easy to carve a pathway on this map against the creep spread. Like, you're only really, despite all this creep looking crazy, it's only like 1 scan deep or so in most places until you're in position to start attacking the base. This was a nice little jump on from Elazer, though. He gets quite a few units here in these tanks, obviously just left without enough Marine support. So now the tank down taking some heavy hits. And that's obviously bad, takes away a lot of the splash damage you're relying on as HeRoMaRinE. Elazer off the hive is just going to go straight into a Viper initially as well, so really looking for those blinding clouds on the tanks to really help him out with this first initial push. But there's even Liberators joined up here from HeRoMaRinE. It's adding a couple of those on, which you don't usually see, as the Marines up the left side will just lift and probably relocate to this main army, which is now in position. Like I said, that creep goes away very quickly. And he's obviously pushing onto the edge of it here, but it's going to keep on receding as well, as he's already gotten rid of those tumors in the center.
It's going to start soon. Not quite yet, and that's the time that Elazer's going to use to jump on top of this army. Liberators be damned. They can't take out all the lings before they flood past the Liberator zones. That's exactly what happens there. The Marines caught unguarded by any tanks, as they've already gone down. Medevac's not close enough to save them. They're going to be pushed all the way back home. Queens have to take care of the Liberators. There's always a bit awkward, but they are there. They are available. They're going to plant down more creep spread. Elazer even spending money on building more Queens to help take care of this. He's about to have Adrenal Glands. No Ultras Cavern was actually made, but guess what was made? Burrow. He's placing them in some really nice positions. Now the creep spread is gone. This might be enough to actually stop HeRoMaRiNE's second, third, whatever wave in its tracks. He actually went over them, but he didn't. And he's a little off creep. He's got plenty of Marines going to a concave. I'm not sure that Elazer really wanted to take that fight like he did, crashing into the tank as well. How many Banelings do you have left over? All it takes is the Zerg getting confident one time, overconfident one time, to suddenly be out of Banelings up against what is remaining 20 Marines. And that might be this moment. Elazer, I don't think he has enough. He doesn't even have Lings to turn into Banelings.
Yeah, he's got a few that have just finished up, but when it's only the Banelings, he's even having to use the drones to try and tank for the Banelings to get in reach of the Marines. And HeRoMaRiNE just keeps on reinforcing. I was a little bit worried for HeRoMaRiNE that last large fight. You know, he had a lot of Marines in Medevac. It felt like he didn't do well enough, and it felt like Elazer got back in this, but no, the reinforcements kept on coming. And now taking down Queens and all sorts, and HeRoMaRinE will take that first game with some real good aggression out across the map, and really just did some good damage with the Banshees. You know, they continued past the damage, which he then took back in return on the third base. And he just had some really good drops, and the drop that kills like 10 drones in the hatchery, it feels like that's the real swing moment where all of a sudden the momentum is completely in favor of HeRoMaRinE, and the next push just makes it look more and more like that every single time at that point. Elazer had like one pushback, and that was it. GG's. Going to game 2 with HeRoMaRinE taking the lead.
I said it actually at the beginning of the game, the macro is just really so good here from HeRoMaRinE. He got maxed really before he had any deadly push. The drops did do damage though, for sure. Usually, you know, with you thermal, we see the tank push into the just constant like marine reinforcement. HeRoMaRinE is totally fine getting maxed with 2-2 and then doing the push. I'm sure for Elazer it feels a little frustrating because he had so many opportunities where he did push the army back. He did have commanding creep spread, and yet it still didn't end up mattering. He still took one too many fights that he couldn't actually rebuild. And that's all it takes for those Marines to suddenly, even on creep, be on top of your production lines. GG, man. HeRoMaRinE, almost like, at the end, it looked so commanding. Even though Elazer had his surrounds and his burrowed baneling tricks. Really, it would have been cool to see the burrowed banelings come into play. But maybe for our next match, which is going to be on Golden Wall. That's always an interesting one.
Elazer does love his burrowed banelings as well. He's one of the players I feel like who just consistently and again goes for burrowed banelings. Like he never really stops committing for them, game after game. So I expect to see more of them from him here as he starts off in the bottom left-hand side. Our red Zerg is Elazer.
The bottom right as the blue Terran, he is HeRoMaRinE. I miss those days when Cyclones were a thing on Golden Wall. I know they didn't actually end up being that good, but they were some fun games. And now it's usually just the bio, which, hey, is still fun because this map has given us so many interesting pathways. You know, really having to choose how you take the engagements, either north side, bottom side, trying to deny bases, trying to take all the bases, but I do kind of miss the battle mech.
I kind of miss the battle mech too. It just feels like this is not the map for it. Because it just feels like this is the map where there's like, just like, oh, you've got battle mech running around? Well, I've also got bases on the top and the bottom side and creep everywhere, and it just feels like too large even for battle mech, right?
Yeah, that's.
And then,
I mean,
as on top of it being large, it kind of works for bio because of some of the positions, which then doesn't work as well for battle mech because they don't use those ledges as well. And the units in the mech army that do use those ledges are the ones you don't want to build while trying to be active on a really large map.
I definitely see why it doesn't work out, and you know, so many of the deadly pushes that seem to happen when you would mine out the back mineral lines, back mineral lines, didn't really end up being as deadly as they seem like they would be, but it doesn't mean that I still can't miss it. We saw a pretty cool game.
You're allowed to miss it, CG. I'll allow it.
Oh, thanks, Wardy. I was really looking for that approval. If I get the Wardy stamp of approval, then it's good to go, right? Yeah. I was going to say that earlier today, we saw Special versus Sue, which was, it should have been a cool use of, you know, the middle map portion, being able to mine those out, hit your Zerg opponent. It just didn't really play out that way. Sue has some pretty good ZDT right now. There's Elazer. I mean, I thought he played what was a, pretty good game. Yes, the Banshees did eventually do damage. He did miss that drop too late to save his 5th base, but otherwise his control seemed good. I mean, obviously his tech, his progression in ZVT was fine, and his creep spread was also commendable, but not enough against the steamroll that was the 8 racks.
Yeah, I was, especially when it just got going right here. We just then never made it, never let it stop. And now we see a 3rd CC from HeRoMaRinE already building up in the main base. So this time, going to take a bit of a different approach. The last game was, kind of as aggressive as it gets as a Terran opening without proxy racks or so, or like a Hellbat attack, I suppose. So this time, it's going to be super macro oriented from the very get-go with the fast 3CC. And then the extra racks very quickly behind it. So it isn't even going to go starport. It's just going to start building into what is essentially kind of like a delayed 2-on-1 with 3CC. So you have better economy, and then you still take the map control very early with the Marines and the medevacs dropping across the map at, I guess it hits around like 6-ish minutes with the 3rd CC coming up initially instead.
Yeah, exactly, 6 to 6:30. It's also a bit tricky to scout sometimes for the Zerg player who doesn't have an Overlord there, doesn't get a laying in right. They don't see the supply dips at the front, maybe, but that can mean a few different things. And otherwise, even if you say, oh, it's Hellions, maybe it's 3rd CC somewhere, you don't necessarily anticipate the very swift follow-up of the drop. So I really like this. I feel like I first saw TY do it like a year or something ago, and it does sneak its way back into best of 5s occasionally. Lazer's not going to really have knowledge of that. He is going once again for Lair, Baneling Nest. Very well-timed centrifugal hooks. And we're just waiting for HeRoMaRiNE's build to round out.
Yeah, obviously I'll just be hanging around a little bit. Nice to see the Spire this time around from Elazer. Definitely a map where people like to play the Spire. There's a lot of space, usually because the Terran isn't on the bottom side of the map, right? If you need to keep those meters safe for a few moments, you can get them down the bottom, and they're still close to the action. So it works nicely, and of course it's a good set of mineral lines. You can kind of jump from one to the other, and of course larger map in general is just something where fast, speedy air units that can harass very well, they really like to benefit from. Get some damage done, pull back across to help clean up armies, get back to attacking. They work very well, as we do, of course. Maybe we'll see some trouble as this drop comes in, but he does sneak that Overseer by. You mentioned the difficulty of that sometimes. He gets it straight in there, gets to see the 2 racks. He'll see the stem already building, and the starport already on the reactor, I think, is a big sign that medevacs are going to be building, and that this is going to be aggression very soon here from HeRoMaRiNE, and that Elazer will have to prepare for it.
I do believe that was enough of a sign, but even delaying his medevacs?
Yeah, that bit's interesting, right? He actually goes 1-1 first, maybe just because he feels like it's been seen now.
That might be the exact reason. You are usually trying to do this attack, but he knows about the mutas, so he might be thinking, okay, now that it's known and the mutas are going to be prepared for this, it's really just not a great idea to be so urgent on it. Get that other macro parts of the build set up. And the 1-1 is part of that. Reaper is going to get another scout here. Ling's temporarily denying this 3rd base from a missile turret. Could be a target for the mutas. But HeRoMaRiNE certainly has enough Marines with his build.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, right? Especially when you're rallying out to that 3rd base a lot of the time. You shouldn't really struggle to defend from the mutas as they first arrive here, so... Tell you what, it feels like the Elazer's upgrades are going to be very late. And maybe that's partly because of the fact those 1-1 upgrades start before medevacs, but... You know, it feels like, what, 75% of the way through 1-1 for HeRoMaRiNE when Elazer will start 1-1, because his Evo chambers are just now completing?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a given that they'll be a bit later, but that's a lot later, substantially later. So, question is, are the mutas worth it? Can they contain HeRoMaRiNE, do some damage? So far, no on the damage parts. And with HeRoMaRiNE already producing lots of Marines and also these Widow Mines, his 1-1 attack, just straight to the middle could be kind of nasty. He's going to go for a drop. This is, again, what we were expecting like about a minute ago. But finally going for the drop now, headed right towards the top side of the base because the Hellion did scout that was the location of it. It usually is, but good confirmation. And that is something the Elazer is not going to see, and I don't know if he's going to be able to respond to in time. It's just going to stim on top and get an instant cancel, if not actually a kill.
Muta's just going to escape away. This is going to be, yeah, great drop on the top side. So waiting for that to strike. The Muta's still trying to be annoying, but the double missile turret coverage is really good. He is getting quite a lot of SCVs, but if you delay that 4th base, I really like this for HeRoMaRiNE as he jumps in. Marine's doing a good amount of damage. He will get this hatchery. And it's a cancel indeed. So Elazer's kept to 3 bases for the moment or 2. Ooh, there's a couple of Widow Mines not quite burrowed there. Otherwise, they might have been able to join in this fun. Where the meters do get blown up that little bit. Gets a refinery. So Elazer's still keeping this aggression going nicely. And HeRoMaRiNE showing us with the 2nd factory. He really doesn't intend for this game to be all-out aggression like we saw in Nightshade. This really does, you know, I mean, Thors are going to be on the way, Drilling Claws, and Rito are really building up those numbers, and just playing into like a 4th base in a longer game in general.
You know, that armory was mistimed, though, if he's looking for, like, you know, the Swift 1-1 2 too. So there's some upgrade catch-up to be played for Elazer. Still no 4th CC either, which could be difficult to do as the numbers of the mutas have still grown, despite a couple of losses here and there. And of course, they're going to have an upgrade eventually. You always expect that. Lots of Lings going to the north side, I guess, checking around for drops. Once again, Elazer's creep spread just gone unscanned. It's finally going to be cleaned up here. And it's also a creep spread path that could lead to a would-be fourth, or fifth rather, at his gold. But that's not something HeRoMaRinE knows about. Actually going really deep onto creep. The army's already ready to go. Wouldn't mind trying to burrow, but without drilling claws, they're not too quick about it. Are they going to get the good hits? Doesn't look like it. At least he splits off of creep and boosts his medevacs away from those mutas. So it'll certainly not be the end of the game, but a bit scary there. Elazer's actually going to go for it.
Yeah, Elazer going for this. Doesn't start his 2-2 upgrades just yet, so something that might come back to bite him if he doesn't do enough here. HeRoMaRinE needs to not attack his own supply depot, as Elazer's going to get right in on top of this gold. SCVs do not get blown up because the Banes run by. And so they will go on a chase now as HeRoMaRinE gets a few more Marines gathered together. The Banes are still showing up, and the Widow Mines just went off on all the Marines. Wow, I didn't think this fight was so bad for HeRoMaRinE that Elazer was just going to keep moving across the map, but what a call from Elazer. Not starting his upgrades and just going for the kill right here and right now. And it's worked perfectly. Suddenly HeRoMaRinE really is just, well, he's got no units left. He's got like a couple Marines popping here and there. Mutas are going to overwhelm that for the most part. And more Lings and Banes streaming across the map. That will be GG. That will do it for Elazer to tie us up 1-1 after Golden Wall.
Yeah, I guess that was in fact a game-ending push from Elazer to continue to commit. He had more Banelings rolling in from, I guess, different hatcheries, and really just thought that was good enough. It certainly was, especially with the Widow Mines not doing HeRoMaRinE any favors. I thought, like, he'll get another chance. It really sucks that his momentum is going to be cut so hard, but he'll have a chance to macro out of this. Nah, it turns out hitting before, especially Drilling Claws, was just not worth it. Elazer, though, ready to go. As you said, as you pointed out, the lack of the upgrades, he was going to have more ready for that and just going to pounce given the opportunity. Worked out really well. Elazer ties up the score with his own aggression. And takes Golden Wall away from us, I guess, as far as the super cool late game macro. But now we're on Eternal Empire, which also has super cool late game macro.
Yeah, give it 45 minutes, and Elazer and HeRoMaRinE are like camping out one base, but the other guy tries to kill them, and maybe we'll be like, okay, I don't mind Golden Wall ending in 10 minutes or so. But no, Eternal Empire really gives us another chance of seeing that kind of awesome game, because I think that's what people want to see out of this TVZ, right? So, yeah, looking forward to it as we jump into this in a couple of moments. Paolo's ready for it as well.
Yep, he's nice and comfy. If he could eat popcorn, you'd have it. Maybe I'm just hungry, man.
I don't see fan art of that. At some point, I'm going to be disappointed.
Right? Yeah. Well, we are going into Eternal Empire, so only so many views to be had on Apollo here. As I want to get into game number 3, apparently these guys pretty well matched for each other. HeRoMaRiNE's not just going to be able to steamroll over Elazer with his macro. Elazer has a few tricks up his sleeve. What's it going to be on Eternal Empire? In the top right, that's the blue Terran. He is HeRoMaRiNE.
Bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg is Elazer.
I already pointed out earlier in the series that Elazer can be a kind of cheesy guy. It's always interesting to call those types of attacks like cheesy, though. I mean, I think it's still a good word for them, but it's, cheese is usually something that's very early, like a pool first, for instance, which is happening right now. But let's remember back in like Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, like unupgraded Baneling muta attacks could be considered a cheesy mid-game attack. They were kind of infuriating to play against because they're difficult to scout and just a little tricky. It was kind of along the same lines, though after the 1-1, obviously. So what's it going to be here? Is he just afraid of a 2-Rax, which HeRoMaRiNE is capable of, but not as well known for?
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things that Lazer's never afraid to mix in, though, right? He's definitely one of these Zerg players who will just go roaches, and maybe as well as just like he doesn't actually want to play like a long game without being a bit aggressive early, and he just wants to try and take the chance again very far ahead off some roach damage early on. So yeah, some possibilities for Elazer here. And there's that pool first. Gonna be big for him. Command center from HeRoMaRiNE, very standard for him. He will SCV scout as well, so he will know it's pool first very early on. And that's obviously good information. It lets you know what to do with the Reaper, to be a bit more careful about that. He will continue through with the SCV, basically sacrifice the SCV to confirm that there is at least a hatchery here. And then he does back away. I thought he might have gone through and attempted to go for the main base just to try and check if there was already a Rotoron building or so, which there is not. Just an extra hatchery starting, and Ling speed to follow, it would seem. As 100 gas is met. No sign of the Rotoron, no sign of aggression. Just going to be, yeah, safety pool first opening, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like it was a safety option. You know, if it gets a SCV delay, kill, delay in the command center, then sure. Yeah, that's always nice, but not going to happen when it's scouted, so feeling okay about the committal of only 2 Lings from that, and getting that 3rd hatchery down as soon as he could as well. So I was with you. I thought HeRoMaRinE might go for the full scout, be like, I know you, Elazer, you can do this, absolutely, but seems the confirmation on just how far out the hatchery was already being built was more so what he was looking for. Following up the double gas, that 1-1-1, no quick 3C this game. He didn't really get to do what he wanted last game, I guess, all things considered. I didn't think his response to being scouted was that bad, though. There's a lot of good points about having such significant upgrades. I don't think that's why he lost the game, but he didn't get to do his 3cc 6-minute drop type thing, and not even going to try it here in this game. He's possibly, once again, protecting himself from any early aggression, although not early roach aggression, could still be something in the mid game, and maybe adding on the tech lab. Did he add on the tech lab to the barracks already? Okay, well, he is now. Fusion core is going down, so I was going to think Banshees, but you know what? Sorry, I meant tech lab on the factory, or the darn barracks. Yeah, it was on the starport. I almost nailed it. It took me 3 tries, but I got there.
There's only so many buildings as well, CG. You were always going to get there eventually.
Yeah, hey, 3rd time's the charm, because there's only 3.
Is this where TLO is proven false? Because this is a pretty straight up just BC opener, which is more likely to lead into that mech style, rather than playing bio as a follow-up from the 1 battle cruiser, so this could be the game.
Don't call it too soon, though. We saw Special going for bio after the Fusion Core, right? Yes. Going for 1 battle cruiser. I mean, there was a time where a Fusion Core would absolutely mean mech, because just the 3 battle cruiser Yamato mech was just the thing to do. But as we've gotten away from battle cruisers overall, I would say, from its dependency a couple months ago, 6 months ago, whatever, like, we do see more of the 1 battle cruiser into just bio. So I'm waiting, man. I'm not gonna call TLO wrong yet. And that is a 2nd barracks right there.
Oh, I'm so sad.
He wants TLO to be wrong.
Yeah, I just feel like it's... Well, actually, I guess it doesn't really matter for the fans, right? Because they can also assume that TLO is right, so... I don't know. I just feel like it creates more drama. TLO gets it wrong. But plus, yeah, this is very standard.
Triple true as a response,
Triple true,
right?
I know. It's so boring. It's just like, yeah, TLO, you picked all the boring options, all the boring things to happen. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. Although after last weekend, saying that I would predict 5 correctly was actually kind of a bold move. Let's see. As you were saying, kind of a standard follow-up nowadays, and there's a full scout there from Elazer. But late on the actual battle cruiser scout, I suppose, and I was talking more about the biological aspect of things. Queens are in position on that 3rd base, though, and actually more queens being pulled down to help out against this. This did not do anything that it could. It can sometimes get some drones with the battle cruiser, sometimes the Hellions find them instead, but it actually found nothing. Nice defense there from Elazer, who also is going into that faster Spire. Baneland's coming down for protection, but I'm looking at that Spire. Not necessarily for Corruptors, because it is only 1 battle cruiser. He knows that much, but just the control he's about to have, especially to actually get to the battle cruiser here. HeRoMaRinE not paying attention. Doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, obviously just teleported across the map recently. You're not meant to lose that, because once you get off creep, you're meant to just be very safe. And you came back in for a little bit. That's so bad. No drones killed at all. Elazer's already 68 workers. Spire up, Mutalisks on the way. And that BC is just going to give Elazer so much more freedom, right? He's meant to have to worry about defending mineral lines a bit more often. And that will just not be the case now, as, yeah, okay, HeRoMaRinE has faster upgrades, but we've seen this before. You get the Bane speed fast. This time Elazer starts those Evo chambers, well, I feel is a bit faster to get the upgrades of his own going without HeRoMaRiNE's getting so out of reach. So, yeah, great start from Elazer. For the BC, that basically just did nothing, right? You know, it's a huge investment. And now, Elazer, let's see if we can take advantage of it. The Mutas see a couple of Widow Mines moving out. We'll jump in and kill one of those already. Sees the double drop, forces that to unload, so no pressure across the map at the moment for HeRoMaRinE.
Compare the scenario here of Elazer's build against some of the other Terran pushers we've seen, where there isn't a battle cruiser made and then ultimately wasted. That can be a tricky timing to hold your 4th base before the Mutas have really done any damage before any of the banelings have a lot of creep to cover. Now in this game, the battle cruiser pushed off any tank production and Widowmine production, and you just have now dead, what ended up being useless units. You still have the macro potential, of course, and we do have a second factory already on the way, although not on the tech lab like I expected. There it is. But that is a really sad loss, and now Elazer has total map control until HeRoMaRinE can feel confident again, which might take a little while. Also, again, later to that armory, so Elazer more likely to catch up on those upgrades, but man, despite being maybe a little bit faster in evolution chambers, he missed the +1 Carapace. Ugh. Okay, there it is. Finally remembers, but only so much catching up to be done, I guess, on those upgrades.
Yeah, HeRoMaRinE, though, big miss on the armory as well, once again. Very late to get a clean 2-2 start, so at least in that regard, Elazer will catch up a little bit. Real shame then to be missing the Carapace, especially when Carapace is more important for a lot of this. I love this little empty overlord. Elazer loves to fake these drops and, try and force a response. HeRoMaRinE just pulled his bluff, though, didn't move anything against it. So he was right for the moment, but next time he'd lose a lot of SCVs. So,
yeah, right.
Keep our eyes on that. I'm sure.
That's the gotcha moment. That's what Elazer has been trying to do. Occasionally, I think he's admitted that he just kind of forgot to put stuff in it or something. But whatever works. Eventually, he could use the Overlord drop. Usually more of a ZDP thing, but certainly still viable in ZDT. The push through here is going to try and clear up the creep to get access to the 4th and maybe even the 5th on that high ground. That is so much to do, and Elazer certainly has a lot to defend with. Also, so much to defend with. He feels confident keeping his mutas out here, as well as a huge pack of lings that could be trying to turn into banelings. Maybe not yet. There are a lot of Widowmines defensively set up, so that probably won't do a whole lot, but it looks like for both sides, defending is working out okay. Worth to see on the way now for HeRoMaRinE, more missile turrets as well, and he does still have that pretty nice lead on 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2 obviously now underway after the armory finished up, and Elazer didn't start +2 melee perhaps because he's not thinking about it because +1 Carapace is still building, as he does see a fight all over the map, just jumping in here, there, and everywhere. And then banelings do find 8 SCVs in the natural, or the third base, sorry, so gets a few workers. It feels as though HeRoMaRinE just can't quite stabilize at the moment, especially as he's losing another couple of his fights elsewhere, and you can just see how aggressively poised Elazer's army is. That's just how good he's feeling right now and how well this is going for him. There's no chance for HeRoMaRinE to even start moving across the map, and Elazer's actually just going to go up this ramp. The Widowmine doesn't activate for a long time. When it doesn't really find much. There's a few Banes left to go into the mineral line, then the extra set of Banelings already coming up this ramp. All of this off creep as Elazer feels real good about this position. This time HeRoMaRinE will hold on. And now Elazer starts his 2-2 upgrades behind this. Hive is well underway as well. He's still going for this. He's still being aggressive, jumping in. Now the medevac's all out of energy. Widowmine shot to help out. But the Muta's able to dive in on some of these medevacs, but especially the Banes in the mineral line is going to be massive.
Widowmines, hello? I thought they were supposed to be really good. Why are they keep firing on HeRoMaRinE's own units? He desperately needed that one to be on top of the whole pack of Banelings to even hope to survive. But Elazer, he had 3-4 waves of Banelings, and it was enough, even off creep. HeRoMaRinE, I think I see him, maybe that last game, right? One before this. Maybe it was oh, okay, I see how he lost. That just, he was too aggressive. He should have just been a little more reserved, waited for drilling claws. Yeah, okay, I get that. That one I really was all right, he might delay the 4th. He might get a couple SCV kills because Banelings are ultimately going to roll in, but he's not going to win the game, right? You are a defensive Terran set up, ready, seeing this push. You have your Widowmines, and it was just nope, none of them got particularly good hits. Thor didn't end up helping against the Mutas at all, as Elazer had really good control and decision-making on when to use those. And yeah, HeRoMaRinE just ends up falling. I mean, after the way the first game played out, with HeRoMaRinE still bullying Elazer, I never thought these 2 games would have happened after that one, right? Where Elazer seems to be the macro machine, the macro monster, making the cutthroat calls. That was pretty insane.
No, absolutely. It was especially this one, right? The last game was HeRoMaRinE, you step a bit too far into creep and you get overwhelmed. This game, it's what? You just loses a fight out off creep just a bit randomly, and at the same time a couple Banes get through for some SCVs, and I'm okay, plus the fact that Elazer killed the early BC without taking damage. He's in a good spot, yeah, but
sure.
HeRoMaRinE's getting a 4th base. He's going to take the low ground. It's Eternal Empire. How are you going to break up a ramp under 3 bases? Apparently just like that.
Yeah.
Elazer's just yeah, sure, no problem at all. So he's able to take this to a 2-1 advantage. as we get our game 4 going to be setting up on Zen. Great map for the Terran to maybe take some advantages moving around and abusing ledges and positions like that. So maybe a way HeRoMaRinE can make his way back into this series, looking at the map that is ahead of us.
I still believe that HeRoMaRinE can win the series, is the thing. Like, I'm never going to, even those last 2 games looking as convincing as they did for Elazer, I'm never going to be like, nope, HeRoMaRinE just actually doesn't know what to do. No, I would never actually say that, but I am just finding this, like, newfound respect. You know, I already liked Elazer a lot. He's a cool dude, and he obviously can really bring it in ZVZ, but I was like, CBT, let's see. And now I love it, man. I wish I could be that aggressive and that decisive. I do like that you brought up how many victories he did have in the early game. We shouldn't forget that. But moving off creep, up a ramp into a Terran that's ready for you, that's supposed to be like, you know, that's when you start throwing and getting overconfident and you're making the bad decisions. Calm down, bro. Elazer will not calm down. You will win that last game. And potentially this one going to be HeRoMaRiNE's last chance to keep going here in the upper bracket as we head into Zen.
Yep, Zen's going to be our 4th map. It should be fun. Looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see what HeRoMaRiNE tries to do to take advantage of this. Is in the top right-hand side, our red Zerg is Elazer.
In the bottom left, as the blue Terran, he is HeRoMaRiNE. I was going to say that this can be a very back-and-forth map, one where you really regret moving out, as the instant snapback can hurt you. And that's what you've been seeing a lot of times for this match, is that Elazer either defends well and then immediately counters, or just says, yeah, I'm going to attack you, like either way. And HeRoMaRiNE can't find enough time to get enough units. So I definitely understand all the things you were saying, like this is this can be a nice Terran map, but just the way Elazer's playing, I'm like, oh, maybe he just takes advantage of the way this map can feel like instant victories, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in that regard, it's actually kind of terrifying as HeRoMaRiNE, because if you lose one fight slightly, apparently Elazer's just going to jump on your base and kill everything. So you gotta be real careful. As no fear from Elazer this time around in terms of a pool first, just hatch, gas, and pool. So not worried there, not looking to do anything crazy. As the Reaper is on the way, SCV Scout, and the command center. HeRoMaRiNE, we'll see what he wants to do following this. I'd be very surprised to see like a 3cc here. Definitely feels like a double gas Banshee kind of map, with how fast those roaches could come through the center if this was to be some aggression from Elazer.
Oh yeah, that definitely can be scary. Good point. But I mean, Elazer, as much as he can be the roach guy or the Baneling guy, like earlier on, it seems like he is leaning more towards the mid-game aggression, more of the decision-making than it is necessarily a build order. Of course, as I say that, he adds a Roach Warren because, you know. But yeah, Roach Warren, and that is a non-second gas quite yet. Still no second gas.
Can you just go one gas, no wing speed, right?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about HeRoMaRiNE.
Oh, HeRoMaRiNE. Oh, my bad.
Nah, he does add it on.
Top of Zerg base.
Yeah, that was my bad. The second gas was really weird, was going to come down, because of course that means 3cc, but just a little bit later than I thought it would be. Right, more so on Elazer. What does that Roach Warren mean? What does the gas mean? Yeah, handful of roaches. HeRoMaRiNE should be more and more suspicious as the third base doesn't get attempted to be even taken. But will he actually scout the roaches?
Yeah, this is one of the maps where if you just don't see the roaches and you don't get a bunker up in time, you just, especially this build, right, it really looks to just get across. And, you know, if you don't have a bunker, you generally are just in a lot of trouble very quickly there. Elazer's going to put the draw in position to pretend there's a third hatchery that wants to come down here. HeRoMaRiNE kind of wants to go to the left to see if the roaches are moving across the map, and he's going to be met by another queen. Zones that Reaper out, and the Reaper's going to pull right away. So it's going to give the roaches a lot of time to come across, while HeRoMaRiNE just sees nothing at all. Oh no, HeRoMaRiNE has zero preparation for this at the moment.
That's very, very deadly. There's no committal of Lings behind this, so the thing that usually like straight up ends the game, that just is too much to handle, isn't going to be here. But these roaches going so unscouted are definitely going to do damage. The Banshees coming out as quick as they can with HeRoMaRiNE's build here. No stop by a Liberator or a Viking, but still not in time. The SCV is like shakes hands with roaches and is like, wait a second, let's go ahead and pull the rest of the SCVs here. But he pulls them, he might not be able to lift the depots. He is barely not going to be able to do so. The roaches are already in the main base on top of the Hellions, top of the SCVs. These two Hellions desperately going to try and do something, but two Hellions I mean, that doesn't take very much to handle, whereas for Elazer, his roaches take a lot more to clean up.
He's already killed 12 SCVs and counting right now. By the time this Banshee is out, HeRoMaRiNE's going to have, what, 10 workers or less? And Elazer still has, well, most of his units here. The SCVs will pull in once again, try and deal some damage. The Banshee pops out now, but this is so difficult to return from. I mean, 25 workers killed, Fresh Mule killed off as well. Ravager and the Roach chases for a few final workers, and HeRoMaRiNE. All of this as well is on 2 bases, right? This is not a third CC. And this was just, he missed the scouting of this at every possible corner. And now Elazer is just in, well, a fantastic spot. All he has to do is not take damage from these Banshees. And that alone, that alone might just be enough for him to win this game, right? But, HeRoMaRiNE will try and he will make it see what happens. I feel like if this is a ladder game, HeRoMaRiNE's already out of here, but this is his last chance in this winner bracket. He does not want to leave without a fight, as the score is about to be done. So a couple moments where the Banshee gets one drone. Unfortunately, ZG, it's not comparable to the 20 plus he lost.
This is after losing $100 and finding a penny, and you're like, okay, one step closer. I'm almost there, man. Yeah, he's gonna have to do a lot more. He will have a certain amount of time to try and macro out of this, but like you were saying, if it was a third CC, I'd give it a little more credit. If it was 15 workers instead of 24, a little more credit. Nah, it's way too far gone. The Roach is getting into the main base as quick and easy as they did not give the appropriate time for the Banshees to help hold, and it wasn't going to be a pretty hold even if that had happened. So Elazer going into probably what is going to be a kill move here by going to a Spire. Like, you just can't get enough anti-Spire units. And if you go for all structures, then anything on the ground can also kill you. For instance, a handful of Lings. Killing SCVs, maybe killing a supply depot. Is this how HeRoMaRiNE's going to tap out by losing to...
Yep. People goes down, and that's just going to be it. There's just nothing there. There's no Hellions. What a sad ending to the series.
Yeah, especially after the first game, where HeRoMaRiNE just kind of like, felt like it was brute force. Felt like he was showing off his muscles and just like, yep, move aside, peasant. And then Elazer was like, hold on here. Let's not do that way. And really just closing the game out as quick and once again decisive as he did. Finally showing that early Roach Warren that was one of the most effective early Roach Warrens I've seen in some time.
Yeah, it was just, you had no information until it walked into the natural, and it's just way too late, and then you don't even get the depot up to buy a bit more time. It's just what do you do? I mean, there's just no way to really deal with that at that point, so it's very, very rough. And an unfortunate way for the day to end. Like I said, it wasn't... I don't feel like we got any of quite the epic kind of back and forth games I was expecting this TVZ to be. I was joking a bit about like, oh, HeRoMaRiNE's going to smash him 3-0, but this kind of felt like Elazer just smashed him 3-0. He just forgot to start off in game number 1 or so. So yeah, kind of not the series I was expecting at all to wrap us up for the day on TSL 5.
We stand as one.
Are you